Hello, everyone, and welcome to Claret and Booze. My name's Nick. This is a special edition of a daily ramble. We're bringing it to you on this Saturday. As I'm sure you all saw, I've got a little bit of a winter cold, so I've got a cough. So I think you've all been taking pity on me because you've been sending me loads of messages and thoughts on the show and ideas and stuff like that. But we've been inundated just recently. I think since the news broke that the club could potentially be giving David Moyes a new contract, it's really got under the skin of a lot of fans and upset a lot of fans, a lot of supporters. Like we said, there is a split. There are fans that just don't care about football and that are happy where we are, and there are fans that are different, that kind of love what West Ham were and what West Ham were all about. And we've had some great messages, and I'm going to go on to play you shortly a message from a guy called Paul, someone we've never spoken to before. He explains that he's a long-term viewer of Claret and Booze. And like I say, we've never spoken, and this came completely out of the blue. It's a long message, but it's brilliant. His delivery is great, and he echoes everything that I feel about this current situation. And I know that we get painted from the outside, people like, we're propagandists, we're peddling hate, we're this, that, the other. No, we're not. We're the only ones that we're standing firm. We're standing true to our values, and the values of an awful large section of fans as well. A large section of fans. I think that David Sullivan is doing his best to flush out. I think he's trying to flush out the legacy fans. He wants that to be a 60,000 seater library in that stadium. That's what he wants. I think he's happy with it. I don't think he cares. You know, when you look at what David Sullivan has done over in his, 13 years he's been here? We've had 8 years of Sam Allardyce and David Moyes. 8 years of terrible, boring, turgid football. And yeah, you can say Sam Allardyce, he delivered the playoff trophy. David Moyes has delivered the Conference Cup. But honestly, the football is dreadful. It is so anti-West Ham. And there are so many fans that will never ever warm to it. And Paul goes on to nail this completely. So what I will do is I will leave you with I'll play this message, and then I'll go on to give my thoughts on this after. I've also got a response from Gary, from Ryan, from Mickey as well. I'll play those as well, but I'll expand on this a little bit later. But I will leave you with this brilliant message from Paul, and I'll speak to you in around about 10 minutes.
Morning, Nick. My name's Paul. I live in Brentwood. I just wanted to give you a voice message. I saw one of your shows recently where you said your number was out there, and your door was always open. So I thought, rather than call you, I'd voice message you just to share my thoughts on your show and on West Ham in a positive way regards to your show, but obviously a negative in terms of the football. So first of all, just congratulations on such a great show, all you guys on there, the two Garys, yourself and Mickey. You're actually absolutely a great watch. I watch every show religiously and all your daily rambles. I'm subscribed, and I don't normally watch it live, if I'm honest. That's why I've not called in, but I always watch it. So yeah, congratulations on that. It's therapeutic for sure. So yeah, but with regards to West Ham, I just wanted to share my views on the way we're playing football at the moment under Moyes. I've, like everyone else, been brought up on. I was on the North Bank. Players like Devonshire, Brady, Bishop, Slater, for me, football has always been and always will be an entertainment business. It's always been about the West Ham way. And I know people say, oh, well, what is the West Ham way? We never fucking won anything. But for me, it's not about that. It's about going over there and watching players play football and play in the right style. West Ham are West Ham for a reason. Ron Greenwood, John Lyall, Billy Bonds, Harry Redknapp, that is our DNA. What's going on now is utter bollocks. And I'm struggling with it, to be honest with you, massively struggling with it. My dad is in his 70s. He's supported West Ham since he was 5. He can't watch the games anymore. He's had enough. He doesn't want to go. We both chucked our season tickets in last year. I started going to Leyton Orient. Leyton Orient's always been my second team. I've been going over there, and honestly, they play better football. They actually try and get the ball down and play. And their manager, Richie Williams, he's very much on the front foot. I saw an interview with him the other day where they played, I think they was played away to Cambridge. They'd won 2-0. they only, inverted commas, only had 62% possession. He said, we only had 62, we should have had more. And that is the attitude that I want to see from my football managers. I can't remember the last time West Ham had 50% possession, to be honest with you. It's just ridiculous. So, this whole style of football, and you got your Moyes in brigade who are, oh, but he won us a trophy and this, that, and the other. It's meaningless to me. It doesn't matter if we're sixth in the league. It doesn't actually mean anything, because if we're not seeing the ball, what's the point? I know people go over to football for a day out. I totally get that. Go and have a beer, get pissed up, see your mates. I do. I go to football with my dad. It's a day out with my dad. But ultimately, if you're sitting in your seat and the other team's got the ball for the majority of the game and you've got two banks of four just making it difficult for them, and you spunk a 2-0 win, what have you actually got out of that? That's what I don't understand. And as far as I'm concerned, anyone that's Moyes in does not like or is not interested in football. That needs to be put out there. You're not interested in football, which is fine. That's your prerogative, You don't have to like football. Maybe you go to football for other reasons. It's tribal, fine. But hold your hands up and say you don't give a fuck about football. You're not interested in football. You go there because all you want to do is turn teletext on at the end of the season and see West Ham fourth, so you can have bragging rights. For me, I'd rather we was mid-table and playing good football, and I was going over there. And I remember so many times back in the day where the West Ham fans were chanting, "We love you, West Ham, we do," because they were proud of the players. When was the last time the West Ham fans sung that song? It hasn't happened. It has not happened under Moyes. We might be getting results, but the majority of fans are still going because they're diehard, but they're not enjoying the football. They're really not. And you saw the reaction after the Brighton game the other day, the booing. That tells the story of how people feel. I can't honestly believe that Sullivan's give us Allardyce and Moyes within their reign. The fact that we've had to go through this is just ridiculous. I've gone off football myself. I can't watch any football anymore. I'm going to Orient, but I can't watch Premier League football. I used to follow Barcelona as well, but I can't even watch their games now because I've just lost it, because West Ham are not playing football. And I did watch the Tottenham game recently. I thought, oh, fuck's sake, why can we not have someone like Postecoglou who's progressive? Look at the way Tottenham are playing. They've gone from Conte and Mourinho, which was like a better version of Moyes, to the style of football they're playing. They look like a completely different side, and he's not even changed it that much. It's just the philosophy. So, I'm really struggling with it. I don't watch the games anymore. I saw Irish Tommy's show last night, and he was saying that he would be absolutely distraught if Moyes got a new contract. I totally agree with him on that one. I'm not watching the games at the minute. I did watch the Arsenal game, but generally there's a lot of games I'm not watching. I didn't watch Man U, I didn't watch Wolves. Sometimes I'll go back and watch a bit of it on record just to see if it's as bad or as good as people are saying. And then I just think I'll watch it for 10 minutes and think I can't watch this anymore, because all I can see is two banks of four across our penalty area. So I just turn it off. So the thought that Moyes could get a new contract would probably be the end for me, in terms of I can't even think about watching West Ham anymore. And I desperately don't want him to stay. I'm finding it hard to believe the board would do this. The whole Steiden project, the Kudas came from the project, Paqueta coming to West Ham. All I can think is these guys are coming because they've got stepping stones or clauses that they can leave. But Bowen signing a new contract, it's just, what is this project? It can't surely be David Moyes. That's what I'm struggling with. Would the board really do this? Yeah, I know I know they think about money, but they must realise how pissed off the fans are. And I think if Moyes gets a new contract, it's going to divide the fans even more than it is already. And I totally make you right in what you've been saying so many times, in that this style of football is luck. I think you said it in your last show that I watched yesterday. we've conceded 50 odd chances in 2 games. Is that luck, or is that, good defending? Part of me thinks that, yeah, we're getting results because we're so hard to break down. I mean, you've managed football yourself. If you put two banks of four across the pitch, where's the space for the other team to get in? It's difficult. But that being said, we're not that good at it anyway, because we still concede 50 chances in 2 games. So at some point, the wheels are going to come off. There's no two ways about it. I keep wondering how we've been so lucky to get wins at Tottenham, to get wins at Arsenal. It just keeps happening, and I can't quite get my head round how it keeps happening. But the 5-0 at Fulham and the 5-1 at Liverpool will always come around again. And I think, like you say, you take Paqueta and Kudus out of the side, we're fucked. And without Kudus for the whole of January, I think you were going to start to see a dip in form. And then as soon as the results start to fall, then everyone will be like, oh, he's got to go, he's fucking useless. As soon as we get a win, you'll get half a lot of people going, oh, well, yeah, no, but we're winning games, I can tolerate it now. I've never tolerated it. I never will tolerate it. I don't care if we're winning games, losing games. I can't tolerate this football. And I actually was Moyes out, believe it or not, even in the COVID season when we finished 6th. And I know people are going to say, oh, really? But I remember the football that season. And yes, we did play on the counter, and we did score some good goals, but we're playing on the counter and scoring some good goals now. Nothing's really changed. If you look back to that COVID season, we beat Tottenham 2-1 at home. Lingard scored the winner. We were fucking atrocious in that game. Tottenham had all of the ball. And the same at Leicester, we won 3-0, 4-3 at home to 4-3 at home to Leicester as well. Arsenal 3-0. All these games, we were back to the wall. We weren't playing football, but the results were going our way. And everyone looks back and thinks, oh yeah, we finished 6th, rose-tinted glasses. The football's always been shit under Moyes, and it always will be shit. I've wanted him out ever since then, and I will do going forward. So, but yeah, just wanted to share my views, just to say that, a lot of us out there are of the opinion that, football is an entertainment business, like you keep saying, and that we, as fans, we should be going over there enjoying football, not watching the other team with the ball. So, but yeah, just wanted to share my views, mate. As I said, keep up the great show, and I look forward to your next show or your next ramble. Cheers, Nick.
Yeah, I think when they...
Right, went too quick on Gary's response there. Absolutely fantastic voice note. I hope you all enjoyed that as much as what I did, because like I say, that kind of inspired me to make this show, to be honest. Because I know a lot of you are going to be saying, oh, whenever you watch these shows at the moment, it's the same thing. You're talking about the same thing. Yes, it is. It is the same thing, because I believe strongly in what I'm talking about here. I do. I can't really get excited about the transfer window like I once was. I was always like a kid at Christmas when the transfer window came around. And when you think of the success that we had in the last transfer window with Alvarez and Kudus and even Paqueta before that, we should be excited. Or I'm sure many are. I'm not, because I know that the football, irrespective of who we get in, it's always going to be the same crap. And I am sick of it. And like I say, I've kind of pulled back from Twitter now. I should have done an awful long time ago, but we've had it brought to our attention. I'm sure everybody knows anyway that places like Twitter and everywhere else, they are pretty much controlled by the club. The club have got very strong figures that are prominent in certain areas of the social media space. They can't control YouTube, but they can control Twitter. You've seen it before. They're like packs of wolves. Whenever anybody goes and voices their opinion somewhere like Twitter, you get rounded upon. And they've got people to cover every demographic. They've got young, trendy guys that kind of go and appeal to the younger fan base, and they've got guys that are just really sort of passive aggressive. But if you have a look at them and you have a look at their profiles, it's nothing but gaslight, and it's easy to spot them. Very easy to spot them, and they're everywhere. And like I say, it isn't just on Twitter, it's on Facebook, they're in forums, they're everywhere. They're out there to try and control people's minds, and they never will. The most people that you hear at any time really are the noisy ends of each spectrum, and I appreciate I'm at one of those as well. But the fact is, we are not fucking. We just say what we think and we say what we feel, and it's getting harder and harder to do it. And as Paul said on that voice note, I do think I've said it before. I think the only reason that now I'm still even kind of watching West Ham religiously, like I do at the minute, is because of this community that we've built. Because this is kind of a connection to West Ham and what West Ham was, speaking to people that are like-minded, speaking with me mates, with me family, speaking with all of you guys, listening to people that kind of phone in, that send us voice notes. It makes me realise that West Ham isn't dead. We're just kind of sleeping, and we're being suffocated. We're being suffocated by this ownership. We are. Whether or not we're ever going to escape Sullivan's grasp, I don't know, but he really is killing us. I'm telling you, he is. You know, and I know that everyone out there that's Moyes in is going to look at this and go, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're ungrateful, this, that, the other. Do you know what? Let people have their opinions. You've got your fan channels. You've got your forums. You've got this and you've got that. Why don't you just let people have their space? At the end of the day, you don't represent the entire fan base. You represent a portion of it. And when, like I say, you go by any poll that's run on social media, not just from my account, but from anywhere, even Sean Whetstone's account. This is split at best, but more often than not, it's weighted against David Moyes. So you're not in a majority. You're not in a majority, even though you like to think that you are. Inside the stadium, you're not in a majority. We beat Man United, we beat Arsenal, we draw at home to Brighton, the team get booed off the pitch. We know that isn't the team getting booed off the pitch. We know that that's David Moyes. But the fact of the matter is, this is going to keep going on, and we ain't going anywhere. Like I say, it's this community that keeps us going. And if David Moyes, heaven forbid, if he gets a contract, you know what? We're not going to go quietly into the night. We're not going to shut up, because we know the wheels are going to come off this again. And I tell you what, if Sullivan even considers giving him another 2 years, rounding it up to a decade of shit football under his leadership, after taking us away from Upton Park, then I'm sorry, I'm going to go into overdrive. I am. But look, I'm going to play you Gary's response now. Here we go.
Yeah, I think when they moved us into the new stadium, it wasn't just about, a world-class team in a world-class stadium. It's not a world-class team, is it? That's for a start. But I think that, the part of the plan they never spoke about was a new fan base as well. They've tried to attract a new fan base that really only cares about results. You only have to look at Arsenal fans and Man United fans to realise that the modern football supporter cares fuck all about performances. They only care about results. They don't care about the way we play, whether we go after games or whether we just nick it in the last couple of minutes, because nicking it in the last couple of minutes, that old phrase of winning well when you're playing badly, comes back to haunt you. I believe there is a lot of luck involved in what's happened so far this season. I think we've played certain teams at the right time. For instance, Brighton early on, he accidentally put Ward-Prowse in an attacking midfield position, and he took his chances. Nobody knew how to deal with him, and then he tried to play him as a fucking CDM, right? That is Moyes through and through. He's a spoiler. He is Allardyce. He's nothing better than Allardyce. He's nothing better than Dyche. He is just a negative, unimaginative, uncreative shyster of a football manager. He grifts his way through. He has got us up to 6th or whatever it is at the moment. When you look at the results, the fixtures were definitely in our favour. I think there are a few standout results, like away to Arsenal, but when you look at the stats, how the fuck did we get away with that? Glad we did, but how the fuck did it happen? Spurs, how were we not 3-0 down at half time, right? So I don't think that luck, unless he is, the luckiest man on earth, you don't stay lucky like that. He's had no injuries. He's benefited hugely from the players brought in by Tim Stein. Without Kudus, we'd be nowhere. Paqueta has come into his own since Kudus has started playing, because Kudus, Bowen and Paqueta, the combination of the three has been amazing. But Kudus has been the important ingredient to add to that, and he didn't even want to fucking play him. He didn't even start him for several games, right? And then he couldn't drop him because the fucker kept scoring. I'm sure, but it's something he didn't really enjoy, but he's happy to take the credit for. So yeah, for me, it'll be a fucking disaster if Moyes signs. It will just say we're going to do this for another couple of years, and that's another couple of years too long. Like I said earlier in the season, I'm considering giving up my season tickets if this football continues this way. I'd need something to hold on to, and I don't know what that would be. It can't just be, here's another 2.5 years of David Moyes. That doesn't do it for me. Anyway, that's me. 3 minutes.
Hang on.
Yeah, I think when they...
Bloody WhatsApp. But yeah, no, again, I completely agree with Gary with everything that he says there. I mean, going back to what Paul said earlier on, where he said he kind of let his season tickets go last year. I did the same thing during the lockdown season, after that. And as good as it was to have football back, Paul was exactly right. The football's never changed under David Moyes. We've had periods where it's worked, basically. The football has worked. And it was so wonderful just to have football back. But we've never had beautiful football under this. I mean, you have moments. We all enjoy the goals. But when you go, if you're a football purist, which West Ham fans typically are, because that's all we've ever had. All we've ever had is the football. That's what we're passionate about. Going out there, watching our team go on the front foot. But we're sacrificing that for this. We're sacrificing football for snapshots of brilliance from very, very expensive players that kind of perform miracles at random points in the game. But there's nothing memorable about what we're about matches, about what we're doing at the moment, and it is very, very frustrating. I'm going to move on to Ryan from Fortune's Hiding Down Under now.
I mean, when it comes to what he said about going down to a lower league football team to watch a real game of football, says it all. The fact that he's gone having to go to Leyton Orient to watch real football, as he says, is a bit of a... Why do we do all this? Like, we've had Allardyce, we've had David Moyes, all in the same tenure under David Sullivan. And I think with him employing them two managers, it only says one thing. It says that he wants to stay in the Premier League because he's got firefighters. And it is a teletext football club at the moment, and it's a shame because we've got one of the best youth systems we've had in years. Winning the FA Youth Cup, the FA the Premier League 2, and we've not seen one of them apart from Obama. And it's just embarrassing, like, to have them riches in our youth system when we are apparently called the Academy of Football is a bit of a joke. And someone like Moyes is never going to play him. It says a lot about Ogbonna being thought of for another year's contract as well. I mean, he's been a stellar player for us, but I mean, it's time to move on. You don't just keep flogging him. Like, we need to bring the youth through, and that's one thing that Moyes can't do. So for me, I think there's so many key points that he's got right. The last voice note, in terms of it's not enjoyable. You'd rather watch another game of football than watch our team because it's not up to the standard that we're used to. I mean, we like to have a go, and it's getting painful to watch now. Like, as I said, I'm over in Australia, and it is hard to get up at 1 o'clock in the morning, turn the TV on and watch that, because you don't even get the atmosphere from the game. You just get to watch it on a screen and just getting so frustrated every game. So I think the guy's bang on. I agree with a lot of his points, and I think he's echoing everything that we've said. So yeah, just hopefully that hopefully it's coming to an end, boys, really. And Mr. Moyes will be gone at the end of the season, hopefully as a European champion again, as he'd probably always going to say, and let us know that he's done it before. But if he wins that trophy, I think it'd be lovely for all of us. It's probably not going to happen, but it'd be nice to bow out that way and say goodbye.
Yeah, that's brilliant, Ryan. Brilliant. Completely agree, mate. And it's kind of echoing what most of us think. Going back to Paul's message, most of the people that I speak to feel the same. They feel the exact same way. Yes, there are some that are a little bit more kind of forgiving of David Moyes and even appreciative of the fact that he's bringing us success, because maybe success trumps everything else for certain people. It doesn't make you. I'm not saying that you're not a West Ham fan if that's how you feel, but you have to respect that there are West Ham fans that kind of, in a sense, want more than success. To us, a trophy isn't what we started supporting West Ham for. You know, a lot of people hold that as the pinnacle. For us, it's not. You know, we never had that. Football is all about, like I said, guts and glory. I said that on the last one. And you know what? To have 8 years of Allardyce and Allardyce and Moyes, and potentially to have 10 years of this, David Moyes, I suppose, in a sense, you can't really blame him. You can't really blame him because David Moyes is what he is. This is all a product of that insidious little piece of shit that we've got in that director's box that is just not going to be happy until he rips every fibre out of what West Ham once stood for. He wants that old legacy fan base gone. You know, we're too noisy. We're too, you know, he doesn't want that. Like I said, he wants that 65,000 seater library where everyone worships him like a little fucking Bond villain. But he's never going to get that from the West Ham faithful, and that's why he don't like us. But look, I'm going to move on to Mickey now. This is the last response, and then I'll close the show after this.
Just in reply to Paul's voice note, first of all, thanks for the voice note, Paul. It was a very, very good listen. And it
pew, pew,
sort of
pew.
echoes everything that we say and have said, as well as adding to it, mate. I thought it was a really good listen. For me, I refuse to believe that anyone got into football. Like when you're a little kid, anyone got into football because of results. Can't see that happening. As a kid, you'd lose interest. You know, like I've got nephews and that are just getting into football, like properly, and they love all like all they watch like Messi's and Neymar's and Mbappe's and all that stuff. But the reason why, because it's exciting.
Mbappe.
Do you know what I mean? As a fan, he ain't looking at they won the other day or something like that. It's just literally the entertainment, and I think that's how we all got into football. No. I definitely ain't a West Ham fan, and most people ain't West Ham fans for the glory hunter or the results-based stuff. And I can't understand where this has come from. I've got a little theory on it. I think that the only way you enjoy that more is because it gives you a bit of bragging rights on a social media platform like Twitter. So I think that's where I believe that a lot of these fans are coming from, just so they can say that we beat yous. It's not an enjoyment, is it? It's not maybe that's enjoyment to use, and I can't get in that way of thinking, and I don't think it should be like that. Football. I mean, we heard the argument before, which is died down a lot now about results-based business. It has died down a lot because you know that it's not that. It is to the board members and all that stuff, the owners, but the fans, we need to be entertained. Do you know what I mean? And we should be entertained. And it just ain't getting that way. And for a lot of people who have argued the opposite to what I've just said, and then, now we're getting ex-professionals and pundits, do you know what I mean? Like world-class ones, Frank LeBouf, do you know what I mean? You can't knock him as a class defender, saying as well that we're boring to watch, and they've got it bang on. Sorry, my time's up, but good message, Paul. Pew pew.
Cheers, Mickey. So I completely agree, mate. I do. I didn't realise you put your own pew-pews in at the end. I completely agree. There are more pundits speaking out now. You probably all saw, if you haven't, go back and look at a community post that I did a few days ago. There is a link to an ESPN review of the Brighton game, and you've got Shaka Hislop, you've got Frank LeBouf, and there's another guy on there. And they basically review the game as if we would, honestly. They review it honestly, the football. Why is it so difficult to watch? You know, if you listen to some of the people on TalkSport, for instance, Jim White, who's been fucking gaslighting for fun for the last 2 weeks. It feels like every hour he's putting a message out about how the West Ham fans should be grateful to David Moyes. Fuck off, mate. There, not all the voices do that. I think it was Hawksby on TalkSport who basically completely destroyed us for our style of play. said that we've got basically no right to be getting the results that we're getting. We're anti-football, and he can understand why the fans don't enjoy it. And that's exactly what it is. And that isn't someone being salty. That's someone being genuinely honest. You've got teams out there that go out to play football, and you've got teams out there that go out to destroy football and stop it from happening and just nick a win. That's what we are. We're spoilers. Going back to what Gary said, that is literally all we're about. We're no better than Stoke City. We're no better than all these horrible, horrific, disgusting teams that we've all hated from the past. You know, we're boring Arsenal without the league wins, because you're never going to win a league with David Moyes. So that is it's what we're all about, and that's not what West Ham has traditionally been about. There is feels like there is a portion of fans that are loving this. You know, all they care about is success. But I'm assuming they're the type of fans that if we had a period of time where we didn't have success, they would soon disappear. They probably would. You know, many of them may have even jumped on board. Many of our new fans might have even jumped on board with the European adventures and the European wins. I don't know. But I don't know. Honestly, I'm very, very frustrated with it all. I'm very worried about the future of West Ham. I hate the fan divide. I think it will only get worse, as we've already said, if David Moyes gets his new contract, because we ain't going to shut up, and we're not just going to get on board with it. Of course, we're always going to want West Ham to do well, but I'm not going to feel any different if he gets a new contract than I do now. I'm not going to. I'm always going to want West Ham to do well and to win games, but this results-based business argument, that's always going to be there, because that's all you've got if you're a Moyes supporter. That's literally it. That's all you've got. There is nothing else. There's nothing else. Teletext. Results are all that matter, because the football's shit. But yeah, like I say, I'm going to close the video now. Thank you very much, Paul, for sending that video in. Thanks for Gary, Ryan, and Mickey for sending in your responses. Thank you all for watching. If you're still watching up to this point, drop us a comment on the video. And like I said at the start of the video, if you ever feel strongly about something and you want to get something off your chest, send me a voice note on WhatsApp. Just do that. You know, like I say, if we get enough of them, I won't always be able to do a show for everyone, but if we get enough of them, we'll definitely put a show together where we do a boozecast type thing where we all get on together and talk about them. But no, it was brilliant. That was a really good show. And like I say, you lot in this community, it's you lot that kind of keeping my faith with the West Ham fan base. Proof that West Ham isn't dead. It certainly isn't David Moyes, and it will never be David Sullivan. I'm never going to be happy until that guy's gone. I kept on trying to tell myself when we was linked with the Saudis, oh, you know, do we want that dirty oil money? I don't want this fucker in charge anymore. Nothing could be worse than him, what he's doing. He's a one-man wrecking machine to anything that's been sacred to our club. So he can, now and forever, go fuck himself. All right, Sullivan? Anyway, look, that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Drop a like on the video. Speak to you soon. Kevin New Ones.